This video is going to tell you exactly what it takes to do a 10K a month agency, to have a 30K a month agency, and then what it actually takes to get to 100K from that level. So make sure you watch to the very end, because it's going to show you exactly how you run a 100K a month business or acquisition system. We're trying to get to 100 subs. Make sure you subscribe right now so that you can see valuable content like this continuously about agencies and how to scale them. So I had this sort of priority shifted in my mind before, and I always wanted, like one of my goals, for example, before was like have 100 grand in the bank. And once I got 100 grand in the bank, that actually held me back for such a long time, because I was too focused on, oh, now I need to conserve this 100 grand and hold it so dear. The 100 grand is worth nothing without cash flow. So what you need to do is, once you get any money, you should be just constantly investing back into your cash flow position, not your cash in bank position. Yeah. So let's say you're starting out, like you're doing like 10K a month, right? To get to this point, you don't really need much going on. All you need really is like 4 clients paying you like 2.5 grand, right? So that can just happen by accident. I'm not even joking. So you can literally get to 10K a month by accident if you just have 4 people suddenly pay 2.5 grand each month. It's really easy to get to 10K a month, but that might literally just be by having relevant relationships. So you might post on LinkedIn, you might be doing a little bit of outreach, you might be doing a little bit of email, you might just have a bit of word of mouth, you might be doing a bit of networking. It's really simple to get to 10K a month. All you need to do is just put yourself out there a bit more, start to develop your social media, start to develop the outbound a little bit, start to do all that sort of thing. So social media, you might purely be on LinkedIn, 100 connections a week or 100 connection requests a week. Outreach to relevant contacts, content, which is attracting a few inbound leads. You might have 1 full-time dialer, and then it's probably you selling. So you're the salesperson. So that's probably your setup if you're doing 10K a month. Something like this. You could even be doing a bit more with this setup, but that's pretty much it. Maybe a bit of social media, branding, might have a few testimonials, maybe 3 testimonials, or maybe 3 to 5, maybe 5 testimonials. 5 testimonials, you're the salesperson, you've got 1 full-time person on the phone, if that. LinkedIn, you're doing 100 maximum outreach connections each week. You're doing a bit of outreach to the relevant connections, and you've got a bit of content going out, which is getting a couple of inbound leads. That's probably your setup if you're at 10K a month, right? And how do you get to the next stage where you're doing like 20, 30K a month? It's simple, really. You just invest more into the acquisition side of the business. Like everything from 0 to 100K a month really is just building a better acquisition system. Now, obviously, to keep those clients on board, you need to be able to have a decent fulfillment system, which you can have a client ascension process, not just a client acquisition process. You need a client ascension process, which will help you get to that 100K and beyond much faster. Beyond 100K, you really need to focus on retention, but we're focusing on getting to 100K first. So really, to get to the next stage from 10K a month to get to 30K a month, what do you need there? Or what's the setup really with 30K a month business? Now, 30K a month really is maybe 2 full-time dialers. 2 full-time dialers. You're most likely still closing yourself, but you could also have a closer in at this point as well. 1 closer, still yourself. You might have some cold email going out as well. So let's say 2K or 1K emails per day. 1K emails per day going out, 10 to 15 testimonials, and then content a few times per week. But the key difference here at 30K a month really is the sales process. So you might have at this stage a better sales process, a better way of jumping on call with a potential client, taking them through a process and then collecting cash. That's really what changes from 10 to 30K a month. I remember being at K a month and not really having any outbound really, apart from cold email. Didn't really have a sales process at all. It was like these people were coming in by accident. And there's no structure. We weren't tracking everything. That's a good point actually. So maybe more tracking as well. So better tracking. So you start tracking, you got a bit of a sales process in place, or you're trying to build out your sales process and getting it more consistent. Your calendar's gonna be full as well. That's gonna be a different thing that you're gonna have at 30K a month. And you'll definitely be focusing a lot more on outbound or just getting more leads through the door. However you're generating leads, you'll be getting more leads and having a full calendar each week. Yeah, so really just break down what you need to invest in to actually get to that 30K a month. If you're at 10K a month right now, what that would look like is definitely someone full-time doing outbound or generating leads for you. That's something that you need to definitely invest in. You can structure it so that it's performance-based as well. So I would definitely do that. I wouldn't recommend giving equity to anyone at this stage. You might end up giving away equity when you could have just paid them a salary all along. But you're definitely gonna have someone or multiple people full-time working on dialing and stuff like that for you. At this stage as well, you're gonna have maybe yourself or one closer. You don't need a closer yet. I would definitely recommend, a lot of people say remove yourself from the business, but I think it's a case of building a process first and then removing yourself from that process once it's in place and firm. K emails a day, it's pretty simple. You'll be spending around 100, 300 pounds a month on cold email. So you'll be sending 1K emails per day. So you want to be investing a bit of that. 10 to 15 testimonials. So you probably have a decent amount of clients at that point, and getting people on testimonials and getting good feedback and using that as content. So you can use the 10 to 15 testimonials as content a few times per week, and you can also repurpose those testimonials into case study videos. So it's how we actually help them do this, and it's just a video of you breaking it down on Figma or something like that. From there, you have the sales process. So this is like I said before, this is the key, and you're probably gonna have better tracking. So you're gonna be putting a system into place. You're maybe doing a 2 call close or a 1 call close. I would recommend a 2 call close for B2B. You're going to be qualifying them on the first call, maybe going for a bit of a presentation. You're gonna have some sort of performance-based offer, but still collecting cash up front. It's gonna be good. So this is the key at this stage. 30K a month is sales process. Now, the next part that I'm going to talk about is getting to, let's say, to 80K or maybe 100K a month is the next stage, right? We'll say 100 just to make it nice and easy. So how do you get from where you were, 80K a month, to now doing, let me just draw it over the other side a little bit. So how do you get to 100K a month from 30K a month? Now, let's just break down what that probably looks like in terms of 100K a month. On a conservative basis, we want to be pessimistic. You'd be looking at 3 closers, doing 30K each collected. 3 closers, 30K collected. You want to have a decent fulfillment process, decent repeatable fulfillment process. You want to have repeatable sales process. You want to be tracking KPIs on both ends. You got product market fit with the client, so you're selling exactly what they want and need and repeatably buy. You're gonna have like maybe 3 or 4 setters full time. Probably gonna be running ads, maybe like at least 3K a month, I would say. If you're running primarily an outbound strategy, you'll probably be spending around 3K a month on ads. And then cold email, maybe like 2. Cold email, maybe 3K sends. So now let's break down this position here, yeah? What's this position on the chessboard, right? Analyze this and just reverse engineer it, right? So that you can break it down and see what you need to get there. So 3 closers doing 30K each, right? This is on a B2B, right? Agencies, B2B. Gonna have 3 closers collecting 30K a month, right? They're gonna have to be managed well. They're gonna have to be managed based on KPIs. They're gonna have to have a repeatable process. What we were doing like at 30K compared to 100K is we're doing a lot of the stuff ourselves. So you're gonna have to sacrifice a bit of a percentage of the margin as well to get to 100K a month. But it's gonna be worth it because you're gonna have a repeatable process, and it's gonna be way less stress on you if you can actually get the repeatable process in place. If you're still slinging random deals, which is like taking away from the core product and service, then that's going to create more stress and probably distract you and also help you make less money and also build less equity value because it's more based around you being in the business, trying to fling random deals and stuff like that. You want a core product or service which has got product market fit. So you've got the 3 closers collecting 30K a month on an offer which is repeatable. You've got a repeatable process there. The back end needs to be repeatable as well. So you want a decent repeatable back end fulfillment process to fulfill your clients. So if you're selling leads, then you want a core process which you follow every time. You want to be tracking KPIs on both ends. So KPIs would be like, let's say 3 pitches per day for closers. That would be 10 appointments per day for setters. That would be 2,500 email sends per day for the cold email guy. There's all sorts of different KPIs that you want to be tracking, but it's all really around your outbound processes and figuring out, okay, how much outbound do I need to do to be able to achieve X amount of revenue, right? Which is, in this case, 100K. So you also want 3 or 4 setters on full time, probably 4, maybe like 3. Yeah, probably 4 for free closers, just to make sure that all act. And they're going to be on the phones, they're going to be managing the cold email, they're going to be doing all sorts of stuff. They're just going to be trying to book in as many meetings as possible, right? They're going to be KPI based on, for me, I track talk time. So how long they're actually on the phone speaking to people. That's one of the most important things for input KPIs. And then they're going to be based on 10 appointments per day, really is where they want to be at for my stuff. 10 appointments per day is good. You want to be spending like around 3K a month on ads. So you want to be like definitely reinvesting into your lead generation in ads, testing out what works. You can really just use the offer that you use for the cold calls to get people in through the ads. It's a good thing about outbound. You get direct feedback on your offer, and then you can use that refined offer to then run ads on, and then you print results. Like we started running ads after doing 3 years of outbound, and it started printing because we just knew what worked. We knew what resonated with that audience. Then you also want 3K sends per day as well for cold email. So that might be like £500 a month in terms of like costs, and then your domain costs, and then your sending costs. So that might be a bit more, maybe like £750, £1,000 a month on cold email. So this is 100K a month. This is what it takes to get there. So to get from 30K to 100K, there's a few things that you need to do which are really important. Number one is, and I'm going to use a different pen to actually explain this. Number one is going to be replacing yourself in the sales process. Yeah, so you're going to have to get closers on to close for you. How do you do that? You need to build a repeatable process. What do I mean by that? I mean that every single time you're selling the same product to the same audience, right? Which the product that they really want. And you're just going to be doing that on repeat. You're going to get the setters booking in the same for the same products as well. It's going to be consistent throughout, even on the fulfillment side as well. So no flinging offers or anything like that. You just need to have free closers selling the same product or service with a repeatable process with specific KPIs for that. And in order to do that, you need to replace yourself and obviously build that standardized process. Next up is doing the same, but on the fulfillment side. So I don't know what your setup is and whether or not you have business partners or anything like that, but ideally your business partner, or if you're doing it, then you need to build out a repeatable process on the fulfillment side as well. So it's literally just building out a standardized process, same as you would on the front end for that fulfillment back end, right? You're gonna have steps in place, you're gonna have SOPs for those steps, and you're gonna put people and hire them and put them on salary for them to repeatedly put those things in place for you. Even if they're a little bit bad to start off with, but you see the potential in them, put them in that place earlier, and then just iterate as you go along, and then learn what KPIs you need to track them based on. From there, you've obviously got the repeatable sales process, which is what I spoke about. Tracking KPIs is something that you need to understand and build out. I've typically in the past built out KPIs after I get into a management position. So I'll start managing the sales team and then just start thinking, okay, what's the core things I'm tracking? Okay, the amount of discoveries we're setting per day, the amount of book to pitches, the amount of pitches that we do, and obviously cash as well. So tracking KPIs there. Product market fit. So this is really just about having one product, one service, or whatever you're selling that you're repeatedly selling to the marketplace every single time. That is really key. 3 setters full time, so they're going to be just literally, they're going to be doing the same thing every single day. You don't want to make it too complicated for them. A relatively low brain power position, so you just want to make sure that they're just doing what they need to do every single day, making those calls with the same exact offer every single time. Maybe a bit of objection handling knowledge that builds up as they go along, but it's going to make it easier for them if you just have a really good offer. The way that you get a really good offer is that you build a really good fulfillment process. From there, 3K a month ads. Ideally, I'd have a bit of a, by the time you're at this point anyway, you're gonna want to be able to know what sort of gets the market ticking, right? And that's gonna come from the product market fit thing. That's gonna come from having a repeatable sales process. So I would really just look at, okay, what are the setters saying to get people booked in? What's working really well? And then just run ads on those angles. Simply put, and then do the same for cold email as well, and just have cold email repeatedly going out to your market. And from there, you're going to be scaling to 100K a month. But I would say the core mindset shift you're going to have to go through to get to this point is letting go of the quick wins to build a repeatable, scalable process. What do I mean by that? Don't just fling offers here, there, and everywhere to make a bit of quick side cash. It's not good for the long term. Just make sure that you're building out a repeatable, standardized process which you can follow and repeat on all the way throughout the business. And it just makes it way less stressful for you as well. So yeah, this is what it takes to get to 100K a month. This is what you need to invest into. This is the mindset shifts that you need to get to. And yeah, hope you enjoyed that video. If you found some value in this, make sure you subscribe. I'm trying to get to 100 subs ASAP, so make sure you do that, yeah?